Hello and welcome to the October subscription box. For the wooden project you have a decorative heart with an autumnal theme, and then I've also included some individual toadstools and little flowers. You can turn these into brooches, earrings, or use them as card decorations. And all of these designs feature on the wooden heart. There are 2 acrylic paint pens, and these are colours that you won't have as they weren't in the original 24. 10 ml of the UV resin. In the pack you have a yellow glitter, a purple pigment powder, 3 jump rings, a brooch pin and a metal frame. Can you guess what the silicone mould's for? It's to create a little tiny notebook. It has 3 little spacers on the back and the front of the mould, which you can either put jump rings through or sew them. You have a napkin featuring some little ghosts, and a sheet of plain paper which you'll use to create the pages for your book. Using the metal frame as a template, line it up with whichever little ghost you want to feature, and then draw around the inner rectangle. Cut out your little ghost. Place some masking tape on the back of your frame. Then you want to partially fill your frame using clear UV resin, making sure to push it right to the edges. Next, place your little ghost into the frame and let it gently absorb the resin. Cure it for a few seconds as it's going to be under the light a few times. Mix a little of the yellow glitter in with the UV resin and then use this to decorate your ghost. Pop it under the light again for a few seconds to hold the glitter in place. Next, you want to fill the frame up using the clear UV resin, making sure that you don't add any bubbles in at this stage. Once cured, this will magnify your little ghost. This time, pop it under the lamp for the full 2 to 4 minutes. Look how super shiny this has turned out. You just want to flip it over and cure it from the reverse before removing your masking tape. I know not everyone's into Halloween, so everything I've included in this box, you don't have to do it Halloween themed. The cool thing about this is where the white parts are, the UV resin has made it look translucent. You can use this same technique with any design, so you could use a floral napkin for example. Again, with the notebook project, you don't have to follow this design, I just wanted to show you how to build it. So to start with, I've partially filled the mould with the clear UV resin, pushing it to all the edges. You'll be working back to front with this design. I've cut out one of the tiny little ghosts and I'm gently placing it into the resin. Now, with it being paper, you've got to be careful not to trap bubbles underneath, which is what's happened here. So I'm just agitating it until I'm happy that there's none trapped underneath. Once I was happy with the positioning, I mixed up a little bit of the glittering UV resin and placed that around the design. So as you saw with the previous project, where the ghost is white, it basically made it almost invisible. So I'm going to use a different technique on this project. Cure this in place for a couple of minutes. So as you can see here, the ghost is almost see-through like with the pendant. So if you want to keep your ghost clear, just avoid putting the purple pigment directly onto the back of the ghost. But I'm going to use a different technique here. I'm directly colouring onto the UV resin using an acrylic paint pen. And obviously you can make your ghost any colour you like. Or you could have used a pigment layer here to achieve the same effect as what I'm doing with the paint pen. So once you're happy it's completely dry, we're just going to top up our mould now with our backing colour. And I'm going to do the front and the back of the design with the purple pigment powder mixed into the UV resin. Try to avoid getting the resin over the little spaces, but if you do accidentally cure them, you can always poke a pin through them to make the holes accessible again. Fully cure your design for the 2 to 4 minutes, remembering to flip your mould over and cure it from the reverse as well. I really love the depth that working in layers like this with the UV resin creates. Now you want to cut your paper into little rectangles, approximately 5.5 centimeters by 3.3 centimeters, and then fold them in half. I then place these in twos. So you could sew the book pages together, or you could use jump rings like I'm about to show you. The next step is a little bit fiddly, but you want to line up the pages and then place your covers, the back and front, onto the paper. And I was doing this in twos to make it easier. And then you're just going to poke a pin through to make the holes. I've seen little books like this being used as bag charms. You can also attach them to bookmarks and then write in them what book you've read and the chapter and the date. Next, you want to open all your jump rings by turning them sideways. and I found it was easiest to put them through the paper first and then to attach your front and the back of your book. These jump rings are quite flexible, so you can either use your fingers or some pliers to close them back off. And there you have it, a super cute little spooky book. And obviously you can use this mould all year round and create all sorts of designs with it. Then with the wooden shapes as usual, you just need to colour them in with the paint pens and then use the UV resin and glitter to highlight elements. Thank you so much for watching, and if you'd like to get this kit, it's over on my website at www.bekbek.co.uk.